Short introduction, everyone hates the long ones. This is not a bashing video, we're here to talk about constructive criticism, and I will throughout and by the end of the video come up with some solutions and ways to improve. The background footage is just unrelated. If you don't like it, treat this as a podcast. Let's begin. Hi and welcome. In this video we will be taking a look at the modern feminism. I will start with a short introduction where I clarify why I chose this video, the motivation behind it. I will say what I actually admire about feminist mentality, and then proceed to the part where I construct criticism. In the epilogue we will be summing up and making some overall conclusions and solutions. Throughout the video I will base a lot of my points from my own experiences, what I've read and seen online, like posts, videos, etc. So what I've observed and what I've analyzed. So why this video? Well, first and foremost, it's quite a discussed topic lately. I find it hard to browse the internet without meeting a feminist-related post or someone just directly bashing feminism. This caught my curiosity to why this much discussion and frustration. Soon I began to see almost everywhere I went. You name it, videos, comment sections in particular, forums like Reddit, 9gag, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere. I've seen quite a lot online for both sides. I even went so far and watched the movie The Red Pill. I've seen a few outtakes from lectures online and video discussions. Let's just say there's a lot to cover and I can't do it all here, so forgive me if I miss something. I will start with the things I actually like about feminists, or more specifically, their mindset. They strive for justice, social justice actually. They claim they want equality and try to speak for the little guy, the oppressed, giving a voice to those who do not have a voice. I will go so far and say I actually admire that, helping the quote-unquote weak, or speaking up about a problem in society. That's admirable. I like their intentions, but that's where I think it breaks. It's in the methods. This quickly brings me to my next point, sadly already, which is some serious points that needs improvements. To be frank, I don't know where to start. That's quite a lot. I guess I'll just start with the overall problems and then I will use examples on the way and to get my message across, to get you to understand, to see. I often hear the claim that they fight for equality, but you have to remember, actions speak louder than words. I know that the worst case scenarios often are portrayed online, but there's even dedicated YouTube channels to highlight this, such as feminist videos. I am aware that this does not represent all feminists, we all know. But from what I can observe and analyze, is that feminism has become quite the toxic label. Take a quick look at the channel I just mentioned. It has a lot of videos. Many of them focus on social justice warriors as well, but that's a whole nother topic. Let's keep it simple and say there's a lot of footage, and if you don't believe me, go watch it, but to be honest, I think it's actually unpleasant. Earlier I said that actions speak louder than words, and that's true. You may claim to strive for equality, but that's not what we see, what we hear. I see gender-specific insults and concepts such as mansplaining or manspreading. I hear some women wanting a female-only college. According to Wikipedia, in the United States of America, there's 37 active female colleges, while there's only 3 male. I keep hearing online that I as a male have to check my privilege, but I don't see or feel more privileged than females. Actually, I'd argue that women today are the ones being privileged. To explain why I say this, you have to keep watching the video and actually listen to me. Listen to the examples shortly coming up. In short, I see a tendency to make men the enemy or just the villain. And this seems odd to me, firstly because they claim to fight for equality and hate sexism, but they make specific gender insults, such as manspreading. Secondly, they don't collaborate with other movements such as MRA, the men's rights movement. I don't know a lot of movements for men, most likely because I don't think there is a lot. Or rather, they're not well known. Perhaps they are even ignored. Why are groups such as these two pitted against each other? Why do they not work together? Why scream at male movements that just state they have problems too? Movements such as feminism should not attack or work against male movements, but work together. How can we achieve equality if both parties stand at each side of the fence of the wall and just shout at each other, break down the wall, and work together in unison? Before we continue, I give various examples in the coming part, and I will now explicitly say that I do not undermine female problems. I can understand that, for example, catcalling is uncomfortable, and I can see the issue. But right now I need you to listen and understand. Men have problems too, and that's what we're here to discuss. If I was some big shot in the feminist leagues, I would help out men. Why would I do that? Because I want it and I need their support to achieve my goal of justice and, more importantly, equality. You cannot fix some problems feminists have if you create a divide between the two sexes. If you shout, if you are angry, if you throw insults and make male-only concepts, you're pushing them away. You're being counterproductive. I would help and focus on men because it would gain their trust. It would gain me support and we'd be one step closer to equality, or just improving some of the problems both sexes face. Why not work together to fix them? Do you have any idea how unequal the ratio of female and male shelters are? There's so many female shelters for women who's been assaulted or abused by, let's say, their husband. Do you think there's any reasonable or mentionable amount of male shelters? Sadly, there's not. This is where we should help one another. The females have a lot of shelters, therefore we can conclude that they have a lot of expertise and experience. Why not share that knowledge with the men and build more shelters for the men? Now we are working together, improving the lives of other people. By such simple, not easy, but simple acts, you will gain support and, even more importantly, respect from both men and women. See it as an investment. If you help the men out, you will gain both support and perhaps some good karma on the way. Often hear the word equality in regards to jobs. But could someone please clarify something for me? Why do I rarely see homeless women? Where are the women in the humble yet necessary jobs? Where are the female firefighters, security guards, trashmen waking up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning? Where are the carpenters, electricians, the female plumbers? I can't recall going past a construction site and seeing any women. Let's say I need to move. I need some moving men. Where are the moving men that goes to the 5th floor and move my big fridge that weighs, let's say, 70 or 80 kilos? Where are they? In my country, the males have to go something called a session, and the best way I can translate is it's basically men at the age of 18, they have to go to a military compound near them, and they undergo various tests. You're forced, and you have to take tests in mathematics, logic, language tests. You're being measured in your height, weight, and overall health. You'll have to sit in a small, uncomfortable room with a lot of other half-naked dudes waiting to get to see the doctor. There you sit in your underwear in front of this middle-aged old man judging you. Luckily, no longer. They don't have to touch your crown jewels. Then lastly, you have to see the sentence. Can you go free, or do you have to join the military for a time? How come women go free of this? How come I have to sit and take all these weird tests and in overtime someone touching my private parts? Either both sexes go, or none are forced to go. That is equality. In my country, the military have a few events throughout the year. Women can come, by their own choice, of course, and they get a feel of the military. But of course, it's not the hard exercise. It's not the awkward half nudity. It's not the lack of sleep. No, it's the funny things. They get to shoot with weapons, blanks, of course. They get to try camouflage. They get to see all the cool gear and experience all the funny things. They are not the ones getting tear-gassed. If we strive for true equality, then men are no longer expendable. The phrase men and children first can no longer be valid. Then men have to have the same value as females. We need as many men as females in the lifeboats. The ones left behind will no longer be males only, but a fair and balanced pool of victims staying behind. You, my dear girls, are privileged with the gift of a second chance. Your privilege is life. The man is expected to protect and give up his space because someone has a vagina instead of a penis. This also relates to the point I just made about the military. Why is my life expendable just because I'm a man? Should women not fight and die for their country too? Now the next topic, I know it's quite hard to discuss, but let me focus on men and their children, their offspring. I have almost no rights regarding this, and it really scares me. Courts have a tendency, being a keyword here, tendency, to favor women of the paternal rights. I know it's her body, her choice, as so many say, but don't I have any say in this? If she doesn't want the kid, the only thing I can do is cry, and cry until the sadness fades. If it fades. If I don't want the kid, I still have no say. Let me make a crazy scenario for you, but it still happens. I go to the city with my boys, we get some drinks, I get drugged, I get raped. She gets pregnant and keeps the baby. I have no say in the matter. I was drugged, I was raped, and then get quote-unquote punished with 18 years of paying child support. Let's hope that she at least has some mercy, so I can see my own child, if she lets me. Now, let it be known that I do not condone violence, but let me remind you that if a woman hits a man, he's expected to turn the other cheek. As soon as he hits her back once, everyone loses their mind. I've seen it one too many times in videos, and if you don't believe me, go watch it. There's plenty of videos. But it's not pleasant, I assure you. It happens. Again, I don't think it's okay to go around be violent, and the only place you should fight is like in a boxing ring or the octagon by another willing person. But this concept that you do not hit a woman because she's a woman, it has to stop. If someone attacks you, you need to defend yourself regardless of the sex. Bystanders that then blame a man for hitting a woman once after receiving several hits or slaps, they're downright disgusting. In my research and when I just browse the internet, I sometimes stumble upon this thing called the male sex fantasy. Usually it's around the idea of a female being submissive or sexualized women in series, music, movies or video games. Is it truly so bad? If it is truly so bad, why do you even play these games? Why do you listen to the music or see such movies? Don't watch it. It's that simple. If it is such a big issue, just make your own game or make your own movie. 50 Shades of Grey isn't the female sex fantasy? You don't hear men cry about it, well then, they just don't want to watch it. You like the movie? Fine. I'm happy for you, you enjoyed it. I am. But don't shame me for looking at explosions and half-naked females in a movie. Don't shame me for that. That's to my liking. Aren't men allowed to have fantasies as well? Is this also gender exclusive? Is that therefore a privilege for women? Another tiny detail I always find funny is the word feminism. It clearly originates or derives from feminine, being feminine. Why not something more inclusive like we are the equalists, or you sound like an egalitarian, being equal? I have done some dating throughout my life, and I have also done some online dating. I have, of course, spoken with other people I have dated, but for this case, people that have online dated. I have noticed a tendency. I have come across a tendency in a lot of times it's expected of a man to make the initiative. In other words, he has to write first. I personally don't mind this, but some people do. They may be shy or they don't have the greatest self-esteem. If you like someone or find them interesting, why would you just sit and be passive, hoping they might contact you? This is another female privilege. And if we are to strive for equality, I expect women to take initiative just as much as men. Why should we be the ones putting ourselves in a vulnerable situation? Girls, if you like a guy or just find him interesting, go talk to him. Write to him at least. The worst thing that could happen is you'll get rejected. But trust me when I say you will get respect from men. If you write first or make the first move, they will respect you. Men see that as being confident, and that's a big plus for many men. Okay, I can't sit here and talk all day, so what do I propose? Patience. Rome was not built in just a single day. These things take time, and the best advice I can give to any feminist out there is to be calm and favor logic and being rational over feelings. If you spew out terms and concepts and call men sexist, misogynist, the whole society is a damn patriarchy, and so on, you're just pushing people away. I don't think the original feminists that accomplished such great feats would approve of your current agenda. They made sure women could get educated, that you could vote, get a job, that you could form your own life. Stop wasting your own and other people's times about such petty and irrelevant topics such as manspreading. There's a biological reason men take up a little more space than you. Why are you wasting your time on this? You are forgetting the bigger picture. You want to know why people see feminism as a toxic label? It is because it is associated with whining. And why, do you ask? Because in these demonstrations, they shout, they scream slogans, and they just seem angry. If you were to speak calmly and provide logic and reason, instead of all these negative and destructive feelings, you would get a lot more people that actually listened. Why make a demonstration about rape culture in the Western world? As far as I'm aware of, in most civilized Western world countries, rape is heavily punished. We can quickly conclude that if we punish rapists that are actually guilty, when we don't live in a rape culture that condone these acts. Would it not be equality if someone lies about rape, that they get the same sentence as an actual rapist? That they get the same sentence as the innocent person was about to receive? A rapist can get years, which is understandable, but someone that lies about it, and it's proven that they lied, can be lucky and get a few months. Where's the equality and justice in that? I also find it funny the phrase strong, independent women. A lot of times I observe videos online and these posts and demonstrations where these individuals claim they are oppressed, but explain to me, how can you be oppressed, in other words, victim, and at the same time still be strong? That seems contradictory to me. Here comes my biggest point of criticism. Right now there's people in the Middle East and parts of Asia where women have no say in the matter. Their words have no value. Beatings, stoning, mutilation of their genitalia, because in this mindset, females are not allowed to feel pleasure. Little infant girls are being killed just because they are girls. A little girl will not be able to get a job and therefore take care of the parents when they get old. So she's just discarded like a piece of trash. Where are feminists in these situations? Where are you, feminists, when there's people being killed because some think it's a boy or abortion? This brings this video to a closure. Dear feminists, be patient. Changing society in such ambitious ways will simply not happen overnight. Men are not your enemies, and you should try to see us as allies instead. Most importantly of all, choose your battles. See the bigger picture and focus on the women of the world that actually is oppressed and needs your help. To all non-feminists or even anti-feminists, try to cut them some slack. They mean well.